Hi, my name is Felicia McQuaid. I live in Fort Walton Beach, Florida, where I own and run a healing clinic here. I'm also a mother, a teacher, a speaker, an author, a guide for those on the path. I do a lot of work with people privately in helping them to heal. And for me, when I help them to heal, my intention is to help people and inspire them to get back to knowing that they're amazing. So for me, the way that I define amazing is basically the soul consciousness coming alive inside of you. The place where your light just emanates out of you, where you know that everything that you go through and everything you've experienced is purposeful on this path, and that you have a purpose. Getting to know the amazing part of you is really to get to know the true you. You know, I say all of these roles, but ultimately what I've come to realize is that I'm a divine, beautiful, amazing soul who's been given and gifted a lot of things, including the ability to inspire others, including the ability to help heal others through the practices of yoga, Reiki, energy, spirituality, and conscious connection. You know, I think that a lot of us go through times in our life where we lose sight of this part of ourselves, that something obscures the light within us. And obscuration doesn't mean it's gone, it just means that you can't see it. In my book, Uncommon Faith, I share this story, and for me it's a really pivotal point on my path, because it was a place where I know through my own healing and through my own journey that in that moment my light was obscured. I grew up in New York. I was born in Kansas, but I grew up in New York until about 4 years old. I was there with my mom, my brother, and my father. My father was a fiery Puerto Rican. He actually grew up on the streets of New York. He snuck over here. So he's a self-made man, but also he had a lot of demons. He was a gambler, drinker, he was very abusive. My mom came from a small town, an only child, and went to New York to find herself. And she ended up being collided with my father, and her whole life changed. And she stayed there and had me and my brother. You know, when I was little, my mom used to tell me, and I believe this, that she said it was like I had this light around me. So no matter whatever the abuse going on in the house, and there was a lot of, watch my dad pull my mom around the apartment, he would turn it on my brother, but he never turned it on me, that this bubble of life kept me protected. And it was also the thing that I was the one that could stop him in that moment of pain. That I could literally, as a small child, and you imagine this little blonde-headed, beautiful little girl in a dress standing in front of somebody who's enraged and saying stop, and it stops. But there's a day that that didn't happen. My mom had left us, my dad came home early, got us from the babysitter, took us home. And I knew something was wrong, and I can even feel it in my own heart now. There was like this unease that day. And when we got there, my dad quickly turned his rage, and he'd already been drinking, you could tell, onto my brother. My brother, if I'm 4, he's 2. And I remember thinking, he's going to kill my brother today. And I stood in front of him, in the middle of that, and I just screamed, stop. And I thought it would stop. But it didn't. That was the first day that I was abused. I remember my father hitting me so hard I flew across the room, and after that, not much else. Later on that day, my mother comes home, and that was the first secret that I tucked away inside about being abused. And I think that secret was part of the obscuration of the light, like to hide, 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 hide. And it was the catalyst that we ended up leaving and going back to Kansas. And I wish I could say from that point the story goes on and everything is beautiful and amazing again, but it wasn't. There was a lot of pain. I spent the next 24 years going through a myriad of abusive people, abusive relationships, trauma, a lot of difficulty in the home. And at the age of 28, I had a breakdown. It was significant. I was falling apart. All the anger and all the pain and living in the dark without understanding who I was had caught up with me. And in that moment, the light within me came on, like shone out and said, who are you and what are you here to do? And that set me on my own path of healing. I went deeper into yoga. I learned about energy healing, Reiki. I learned about spirituality. I started to think about who I was in this big universe and what was I here to do. And what I realized is that I was meant to heal so I could help others to heal. And there's many ways that I do that. through writing, through speaking, through workshops, through seminars, through private counseling and healing work that I do with people. But for me, I always have one main intention, is I want to inspire them to be the most amazing them that they can be. And that means healthy, vibrant, purposeful, right? Living a joyful life, sharing with others your gifts, talents, and abilities that are unique to you. So for me, my greatest hope and intention and my call to action for the world is help me by being the most amazing you. But even right now, if you could touch your own heart, which you can, and you can breathe into it, which you can, and you can even say, I am amazing, and start to contemplate, what does that mean for you? If you're really living in your light, what does that mean for you? And so ultimately, for me, I hope to inspire you to keep asking that question. What does it mean for me to be the most amazing me? And what is it I need to heal in order to do that? And stay in touch with me. Every week I offer weekly video blogs, inspirational messages, I'm writing poetry, right? I'm out in the world sharing and teaching what I've learned. And I hope you'll join me in bringing more light into this world by being the most amazing you in all you do.